They hide in any place where they fit. And if you're a millimeter long and you're a part of a millimeter in thickness, almost any place is a good spot to be. Now they're mostly going to be around where the person stays the most. So that would, and at night, we're sleeping for like many hours at a time. But people stay on couches, on chairs, they may sleep there all the time. They may sleep in a bed. So you can have the bugs infesting all those different objects. And on larger infestations, which I'll show you, they'll be within walls, in electric outlets, behind pictures, in clothing, in cabinets, whatever, electric lights, in chandelier bases in the ceiling, smoke alarms, computers, electric clocks, you think of it, that's where they actually can get into. Often the blood, when they're feeding, they take about 3 to 10 minutes to feed. And usually because of the anticoagulant that's injected into you and the anesthetic, almost no one really feels that happening. And if you wake up in the morning, you may have a reaction. Some people have had 2 weeks or more before getting that reaction. So the bite really didn't happen the night before, it happened 2 weeks ago. And many times they will travel more than 15 or 20 feet, but if they're in their bed, of course, they're just going to be going a few inches, feed on you, and go back into hiding. And one reason that they really don't transmit diseases, which I'll get into later, is that they're not defecating on you. They're almost always climb away and then go to the bathroom when they're getting into a harborage area. Although I'll preface it now, bed bugs don't transmit diseases to us. They're not like ticks and mosquitoes where they actually inject that organism from their salivary gland because those disease organisms live in their bodies. They go through a certain part of their life cycle, go to the salivary glands, and then they're injected in when the animal, the vector, feeds. But in bed bugs and triatome bugs that do transmit, or does transmit, Chagas disease, that's American trypanosomiasis, it's actually through the feces. So they're feeding, they defecate on you, you scratch, and you get that in the wound, and that's how you're getting that American trypanosomiasis. And why they're increasing, there's always so many reasons. A lot of it is people just weren't aware. There's also a problem with DDT from the 1950s, where there was a resistance issue then. The same type of mutation in their gene that allows them to be, in certain populations anyway, allows them to be resistant to DDT, also allows them to be resistant to some of the pyrethroid chemicals that are used now. And also a reason why they're increasing, and this is a lot of stuff to read, but I'll get into pictures very, very shortly. And sometimes, like I spoke about the gene mutation, sometimes they detect and avoid the pesticide, so they're actually getting out into different places because of that. And in some situations that people are using bombs to get rid of the bedbug population, that will make them go into other places, and you won't be hitting them because those aerosol droplets really don't impinge on them at all. It doesn't hit them because they're also hidden. A gas fumigation, because it's a gas, actually goes into cracks and crevices, and that's one way where they're killed. But that's not done, although up here, fumigation sometimes is done on a house, but in often cases, the material that's infested is placed inside a small container or a large container. The whole thing is gassed. Let's see, let's skip over here. Now this is a common bedbug adult, and this is the tropical bedbug adult. So you see one little portion, this is the pronotum, and you see how it's flared out on this bug, but it's sort of rounded and no flaring on this. So there's some little tiny points that you have to know about to identify bedbugs, opposed to other bugs or other types of bedbugs. Although we don't really have the tropical bedbug that I've seen up here. And a bat bug, which can be up here, is a little hairier than the common bedbug. Now here's some bat bugs. And here is a swallow bug, one of the bird bugs. So that looks a little bit different too from the common bedbug. So all these insects that they are found, the treatment is a little different because it's really not an insect that's feeding on you solely. It's really there because of a bat problem or a bird problem. Here's the mating, although when they mate, the male would be on top. So this was just turned over by the photographer. It should be the other way around. But it's just to show you how the mating occurs. And a scanning electron microscope picture, this is a male bedbug, so this is the structure that would actually go into the female's body. And the mouth part you see up on top, front view of this bedbug showing this part of the mouth part, which I have shots of later, actually goes in. This is a part that bends out of the way. And it's interesting when they feed, you watch them, if you want to watch them feed, you see how they bob their head up and down, pushing that elongated mouth part in, trying to find a capillary or small artery or vein. And then you notice that the blood gets pumped backward. You can see it pumping through the body of the bedbug. And the body swells because of the feeding. It goes about 3 to 5 times its size. A colorized view. Often when this is the mouth part that would actually go in, the skinny sections, but when they're preserved for pictures, that doesn't stay the way it's supposed to be. So some people get the wrong idea of what actually goes in.